Ukraine's massive drone attack exposes deep vulnerabilities in Russian defenses, June 4, 2025. In an unprecedented military operation, Ukraine launched a daring drone attack deep into Russian territory, damaging key airbases and igniting several strategic bombers. The strike, which reportedly took 18 months of planning, is being hailed by Kyiv as one of its most successful cross-border operations since the war began. A high-stakes operation. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky confirmed that the planning for this operation spanned over a year and a half. The targets? Some of Russia's most valuable military assets, its strategic bomber fleet, including the long-range Tupolev Tu-95 and Tu-22M aircraft. These bombers are central to Russia's conventional and nuclear strike capabilities. What makes the operation even more remarkable is the distance involved. Ukraine targeted multiple airbases located thousands of kilometers inside Russian territory. Belaya Airbase in Siberia, over 4,500 kilometers from Ukraine. Olenya Airbase in the Arctic, roughly 2,000 kilometers away. These targets were well beyond Ukraine's standard strike range, which made the attack all the more surprising. The drones behind the mission, instead of using traditional long-range missiles or high-tech UAVs, Ukraine employed FPV, first-person view drones, the same kind commonly used by hobbyists and social media influencers. These commercially available drones were modified with explosives, turning them into compact kamikaze weapons. Ukraine covertly smuggled both drones and custom-built wooden launch boxes into Russian territory. Once in place, the drones were loaded into trucks and positioned near their targets. The operation went unnoticed, hidden in plain sight among the hundreds of trucks that routinely travel across Russia. When the time came, the drones were remotely activated. The boxes opened and the drones flew out, guided by pilots located thousands of kilometers away. A total of 117 drones were used, each with a dedicated remote operator. Massive damage to Russian bombers. Video footage released by Ukraine shows drones diving into parked Russian bombers, followed by fiery explosions. Russian authorities confirmed that several aircraft were damaged by fire, but they have not disclosed the full extent of the damage. Ukraine, however, claims to have destroyed or damaged at least 40 aircraft, amounting to 34% of Russia's bomber fleet and costing Moscow up to $7 billion. Security Chief Vasyl Malyuk called it a brilliant operation that targeted only military assets involved in attacks on Ukraine. He emphasized that the strike was entirely justified and a significant blow to the Russian war machine. Strategic and psychological impact. This strike has revealed serious gaps in Russia's intelligence and internal security. According to Ukrainian sources, the drones were assembled and operated from within Russia, reportedly even near a Russian intelligence building. If true, this represents a shocking failure of Russian counterintelligence. Beyond the tactical success, the attack has dealt a blow to Russia's military prestige. Despite possessing the world's largest nuclear arsenal and a powerful air force, Russia failed to protect bombers parked deep inside its own borders. These bombers are also a vital part of Russia's nuclear second strike capability, the ability to retaliate in the event of a nuclear attack. By damaging these assets, Ukraine has challenged a long-standing assumption that these aircraft were untouchable. Putin's dilemma. How will Russia respond? The pressure is now on Russian President Vladimir Putin to respond. A major escalation is expected. Already, Russia has made steady gains on the ground, capturing 240 square kilometers in March, 379 in April, and another 57 in May. Ukrainian intelligence believes that a new offensive may be imminent, particularly around the city of Sumy, where 50,000 Russian troops have reportedly gathered. However, a ground offensive alone may not be enough for the Kremlin. Analysts believe Putin may seek a dramatic retaliation, such as launching missile strikes or deploying hypersonic weapons to reassert Russian dominance. Diplomacy on life support. The drone attack has cast serious doubt on peace efforts. Despite ongoing talks in Istanbul, any prospect of a meaningful ceasefire appears bleak. During the latest round of negotiations, both Russia and Ukraine agreed to exchange 6,000 bodies of dead soldiers and wounded prisoners, including those under 25. Ukraine has offered an unconditional ceasefire, while Russia proposed a limited one lasting only 2 to 3 days. Meanwhile, President Zelensky was in Lithuania, calling for renewed diplomatic efforts and humanitarian measures, including the release of prisoners and abducted Ukrainian children. Strategic or symbolic? Zelensky's message is clear. Ukraine is open to peace, but not at the cost of weakness. Some analysts view this operation as a strategic masterstroke. Others call it symbolic. A year ago, Zelensky attempted a similar high-risk move by occupying parts of Russia's Kursk province. The aim was to pressure Moscow into talks, but Russia later reclaimed all lost territory. So, while the drone attack may enter the history books as one of the boldest operations of the war, it remains to be seen whether it will shift the balance of power. Russia still holds 20% of Ukrainian territory, and despite its setbacks, continues to dictate terms on the battlefield. Ukraine's drone strike is a powerful reminder that innovation, planning, and audacity can sometimes trump raw firepower. However, in a war driven by territorial control and political leverage, tactical victories don't always lead to strategic advantage. All eyes now turn to Putin's next move, and the fate of diplomacy in this increasingly volatile conflict.